Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 222. Let's get to it. It's Christmas here. Well, I guess it'll be Christmas tomorrow. The day this is released will be Christmas Day for video to release day. So if Christmas is the thing you do, I hope you have a good one. If it's not, then just wish you a regular good day anyways. however you want to go about that. But anyways, let's get into the draft here. So interesting little set of champions. It's like I'm getting like kind of like more and more interested in just like drafting Vi to see where she's at these days. We pass on her quite a bit, but this pack is just a steaming pile of garbage. There is absolutely nothing good going on with this. The Middenstoke henchman is just way understated for when things go wrong and when things go right. It's just not. Frequent enough for us to want to be playing this. And then counterfeit copies is what I believe to be the worst card in the game. So I would prefer to be staying away from these. This Darius down here is pretty good, and this is the one that I'm going to be taking. So let's cycle back to this. The Zoe down here is okay. We've had a couple, or I guess I should say, I've posted one successful run with Zoe, and then I've had some bad ones in the process of trying to figure out what a good Zoe deck looks like. And I don't feel super comfortable taking Zoe as our opening champion. I think she's fine to take as your second champion and then to build around from that point forward. But yeah, I think she's really looking to be put into some like very specific decks, and then if she doesn't fall into one of those decks, then she's gonna have some trouble. And so, Slippy Trouble Bubble is not what we're wanting to start with. Star Shaping is like the absolute top end of top end that Zoe would want to ever be playing. But this kind of looks like it pushes you towards this like slower, control-y style, which I just don't think is where Zoe wants to be. I think she needs to be in some kind of aggressive deck. And the thing with her is she needs to kind of have like a good synergy with her paired up champion, right? With like Darius, we can just not care. He doesn't need a good champion synergy. We need some like expensive unit in our deck. Darius can fit the bill there. He's pretty good at just closing out games. He doesn't need anything else to make him good. Zoe does need other things to make her good. Just spending a card to get a super cool Shark Tart, just not worth it. And so we need her to be paired up with like a Gangplank or a Sejuani to help level them up. She needs to be paired up with a Bilgewater champion that cares about plunder. She needs to be paired up with like a Diana for a Nightfall style deck. She just can't be put into just some random invoke deck. It just doesn't pay off well enough. So to cycle down to the champion that we're going to take, I really like these Noxian Might Dariuses if they start with Basilisk Rider. This is just an incredibly powerful card pool. It does some pretty good Noxus build arounding, and I'm kind of interested to see what happens if we push ourselves into a full Noxus build around, and then we're able to add in a bunch of Reforges. Because as I'll pull it up on the site here in a moment, the thing with Noxian Might is it doesn't really have any early game plays. It wants to play the Overwhelm for three mana, then it wants to play Basilisk Rider at 4. Then it has a variety of kind of like overwhelming units at the 5 and 6 slot. But like the early game plays are pretty bad. Like you don't want. I think they actually just gutted all of the 1-drops out of this deck. I think the only 2-drop is maybe some of the Trifarian big attack units, but I think we can really fill in here with the 2 Reforge units, and then maybe even if we find a Riven or something. So this is what I'm going to take. Let's take a moment and I'll get it pulled up on the site. If you're not familiar with the site, it's ftpbust.com. This is where I keep my collection of all of our expedition content. The set review for Call of the Mountain is complete in the set review section. The guides section has all of our YouTube content in it. So if you're looking for Zoe, you're upset I didn't take her with the first pick, you can go back to our previous trial. It's a pretty successful Zoe run. And this tier list, I'm planning on updating within the next couple of days. I hope this is my Christmas project, but we'll see if things get in the way of of sitting around and doing video game shit all day on Christmas. So, anyways, we'll be back here to the Expedition Helper section. We're gonna click on the drop down, go down to Darius, and find Noxian Might. So yeah, this is an absolutely monstrous card pool. There is just a ton of stuff here, but as I kind of mentioned during the drafting phase, or back on the pick screen, there's just no 1 and 2 drops really in it. There's the Trifarian Hopeful at 2, and then down here in the rares there is Trifarian Glory Seeker also at 2, but there's nothing like Legion Rearguard, the Trifarian unit that does damage to your opponent's face, and then in the 2-drop slot, there's these units just don't exist, and so what I'm kind of hoping that we can have happen here is we do want to kind of push into Overwhelm deck. Like the really good cards here are Iron Ballista, Basilisk Rider, to a lesser degree things like Armored Elephant. We don't really need a lot of these because we just play Darius, but these are kind of the main like points to the top end of our curve. This does have this built-in, kind of 5 drops matter theme, or 5 attack units matter theme, I should say, with things like Trifarian Assessor and the Reckoning. And so, if we want to kind of like piece all this together, being able to give any of our units quick attack can be pretty good. We don't really want to have to trade away our Iron Ballistas, so giving it quick attack is good. Trifarian Glory Seeker is super excited to get quick attack, and so that is one good use for the Reforges. If we're in this 5 attack matters thing with the Trifarian Assessor or Reckonings, then the +2 attack thing can be pretty good. And then as far as some of these late game units go, whether or not we're talking about like Kato the Arm, or a big bruisery kind of unit like Trifarian Hopeful, these are another way to just punch through damage at the end of the game with the Overwhelm Fragment. And so we can get a lot of uses out of all of these Noxus cards if we're able to pair up the early game with Reforges. Like that's the big weakness in this deck, is it doesn't have early game plays, and then it doesn't have like a guaranteed removal spell. That's just kind of a downside of playing Noxus. You don't have a Thermogenic Beam or a Vengeance. You're kind of stuck with Whirling Death and Calling Strikes. But those being the 2 weaknesses are no early game, no guaranteed removal. If we can fill in the hole with the no early game with these new Reforge units, I think that'll be pretty cool. So let's jump in on Darius, see what we get impact 2 here. I was really hoping to see another Noxus champion show up. It's not going to be the case here, and so this can be slightly awkward since we look like we're on this Darius Darius allegiance path, and so what we run into in the future is if we do want to like fully build around Darius and use this Basilisk Rider theme in our future champion packs, if we say want to be picking Terex, it's going to cut into our allegiances. And so what we're going to do here is I'm just going to look over this Nautilus. I won't play Nautilus unless we're paired up with either Twisted Fate or Maokai. He really needs to be with a Shadow Isles champion to get to the toss half of the deep cards, and just not something we're really looking to pair up with Darius. So, it does leave us with either a Taric or a Lucian. Both of these are pretty reasonable combat-centric champions. We could kind of look at this at 2 separate ways. We could look to pick up Lucian to really kind of shore up our early game. As we kind of mentioned, looking at Darius earlier, he doesn't have any good 1 and 2 drops, and there's not even really a lot of good 3 drops, just the one Overwhelm unit. And so, starting with Lucian Senna and a removal spell is pretty good. And also kind of interestingly over here with Taric, while Sparklefly won't play well in this deck, Zenith Blade does. So it's kind of close. I do believe I'm going to take this Lucian and try to put together more of a you would call this like a Relentless deck. Relentless used to be a Lucian and Katarina theme that was centered on attacking multiple times in the same turn. Lucian got pulled out of that for Quinn. It's kind of based more on scouts now, but I think we can still perhaps pull off some of those same combos. If we like pull off a Shunpo, or maybe we build towards Darius and get stuck with an Apprehend or something. There's some synergies here that don't don't appear readily available, but I think these will be okay. So let me take a moment. Let me get this pulled up. I just don't think we want to pair up with Taric. Like the Taric is good, but my problems here are we don't have any of the Reforges to start with. That's kind of like one of the themes out of the new set is playing like Reforge Tarek. It pairs up with Riven. You can play a Reforge card on Tarek, and then he spreads that +2 attack or whatever you're using out across your units. I think that's fairly weak. And then there's really just no combat tricks otherwise in Noxus. You have things like Might. You can rarely find things like a Elixir of Wrath. I guess Weapon Hilt should be pretty common, which is okay to play on Tarek, giving him +2 attack, your next unit +2 attack, and then reforging twice. But starting in Noxian Might, I don't think we're really going to be able to pull that off. So I think we'll be happy with this Lucian. Let me take a moment and get this one pulled up. Whoa, didn't click on the thing. Lucian, Retribution, and cool. And so there's not like, a whole lot of combos here, but the things that I am kind of interested in are, the question we keep asking ourselves over and over again when we're in Noxus is like, how can we take advantage of Reforges? And Lucian and Senna don't do that particularly well. You keep just giving them quick attack doesn't really do anything because they already have it. Giving them overwhelm is probably just a damage or two, although that could be a pretty good late game play onto Lucian. And +2 attack isn't like super exciting. They're probably just going to win whatever combat they're about to get into anyways. But the things that it does play extremely well with are the challengers. And so having things like Challenger Bird, Larn Duelist, giving a unit challenger, things like On Guard, I think we can probably find some pretty good combos with these. And then this pool also has stuff like Grizzled Ranger in it, and giving a Grizzled Ranger quick attack can be pretty good. And so I think this will pan out okay. It doesn't really fill in the problem we have of finding a late game removal spell. Like, this doesn't have Concerted Strike in it, it doesn't have Detain in it, but we have the opportunity for those kind of cards to show up. But the big thing it does do is really help us out with our early game. And so we may or may not be building around that Basilisk Rider. We'll have to kind of see how things pan out. Maybe we just end up drafting like 2 Lucians and we have like 8 Demacia cards. It's a little bit too many, but we can kind of work with trade picks to maybe fix things. But I think this is just going to be kind of more of a Relentless style deck if you remember to 7 months ago, where we're just kind of looking for early game out of Demacia, looking for late game out of Noxus, and then really trying to take advantage of Reforges. So I'm on board. So let's see what happens here. Let's take this Lucian. See how things fill out. So kind of interesting. I think I'm cool with just continuing down Noxian Might. The Iron Ballista being the best card out of all of these. We could consider starting with a Challenger Bird in single combat, but I don't really want to be counting on having Reforges show up. And I really like the idea of what we could do with the Iron Ballista Decimate. I really want to be heavier into Noxus in this run, and then just be taking high-value Demacia packs. This is a pretty high-value Demacia pack, don't get me wrong, but Noxian Might is the set of cards I want to be showing up here. So we're going to start out with the Iron Ballista. Okay. All right. Well, not an exciting set of cards, but we're good to pick up a War Chefs and an On Guard. I do really like having one On Guard in these kind of decks. War Chefs I'm not super huge on ever since it lost its point of attack, but the rest of these packs aren't particularly good. We definitely don't want to be diving into the Black Mist. This is a Allegiance deck out of Shadow Isles, and then the Sharpened Resolve is okay, probably unnecessary, and then the Shield Breaker, not something we want to be picking up. We want all of our big boys to have Overwhelm or be Kato that gives out Overwhelm. Okay. So interesting. Always interesting in these packs is Relentless Pursuit. Just extremely good at closing out games, and starting with a Challenger Bird can be okay. I wanted to go back and see if they just jammed the Grand Plaza into this deck. They didn't. As we found out in some previous runs, playing the Grand Plaza on 3 with a Blinding Assault can be an absolutely soul-crushing play for your opponent. But I think I do want to go out of my way to go ahead and pick up this one Relentless Pursuit. I'm not huge on Mage Seeker Conservators in these decks. Our 3-drop slot should be okay. We've already got 3 drops to begin with. It tends to get clogged up with like random Reckless Trifarian, so I don't think she's like super important to take. And I would be okay with the Assessor. I think we'll probably be able to activate this, but it's not really the theme that we're looking to build towards here. Oh, we found it, the Grand Plaza. You got to snatch this up. This is just way too good for Expedition. This is easily, it might just be the best Demacia card in the game right now. I don't know if it feels like better than Genvivi. It feels a little bit better than, or a lot better than Cithria. I just don't think we can pass this up. Probably be okay with a Captain Erika in these decks just to have a way to deal with anything, but I'm not passing the Grand Plaza. Okay, so what do we do here? I'm kind of interested in Iron Ballista. Picking up the Grand Plazas does make me a little bit more interested in Egghead Researcher. He would be okay anyways, but turning him into a real unit for a turn and forcing a trade when he typically just kind of hangs out and doesn't do anything can be pretty big. But how good are we looking at for the Reckoning? As it stands, we don't have any Reforges, so that kind of dream is slowly slipping away. But what can survive it? We've got 1, 2, 2.5. Like we can call that 3 if we have a way to boost Senna. 4. So like half of our units can survive a Reckoning now. I think it could be okay. These other packs just feel fairly weak. Like when it comes to these late game cards, again, I don't want to be adding in Swiftwing Lancers. I would rather it just be like Egghead Researchers generating big dragons, or having just big overwhelming dudes. Just not what we're getting out of Swiftwing Lancer. So I think Iron Ballista will be okay. He's, in my opinion, the best 3-drop. Oh, fantastic! A Blinding Assault number 2 to go with our Grand Plaza, and a Detain. Perfect. Found that removal spell we needed so bad. Cool. I'm happy with a Legion Drummer Blinding Assault. I don't want to go like too deep on these Blinding Assaults, but I think they're okay, and they play particularly well with Legion Drummer. Legion Drummer is what this Relentless deck used to be trying to do. We kind of use this to protect our units that were attacking multiple times, so we would kind of the grand theme of what you could do was attack with Legion Drummer, give a unit quick attack, and then play a Relentless Pursuit or Shunpo, get in a second attack, give a second unit quick attack. That was all well and good, but it was just too, win more of a kind of thing to really build around. But using Legion Drummer to give Challenger units quick attack is extremely powerful on its own. So I think we're happy to pick these up. All right. Interesting set of cards. Out of all of these, I really want the Radiant Strike. Not going to be able to take it. We're never going to activate a Dragon Guard Lookout. So Legion Saboteur is okay, and we probably do need to pick up some amount of combat tricks. This would be our first Reforge. Really wish we had more Reforges than we do. But let me double check on what these spells are. 3 of them are Blinding Assault, so that makes me feel a lot better. I was curious how we got up to having so many spells, because it didn't seem like we'd really taken any combat tricks or removal spells. I know we took some removal spells, but I think I'm spot on with the no combat tricks. Have Decimate, Reckoning, On Guard, Single Combat. Okay. So I think this will be okay. I'm not excited about the Saboteur, but I do want the Weapon Hilt. Radiant Guardian is a pretty good unit, but I just don't think we're going to need this kind of top end. We're going to, if the game's going late, we're just going to be like crushing and winning. We're not going to be one of these decks that plays like Radiant Guardian on 6 to try to stall until turn 9. Okay. Who do we want here? I'm cool with having a Minotaur Reckoner. I think I'm okay with skipping out on Scorched Earth Whirling Death. So our choice is kind of down here. Do we want a Challenger Bird with a Greenfang Warden, or do we want to pick up a second Legion Drummer with this expensive unit? I think these are like fairly close. We haven't really picked up a lot of top end, but we can also just be like, well, I'm going to go and pick up more Dariuses. And so that's kind of like one of the perks of drafting Darius is, if you've gone out of your way to not take very expensive cards, then you can go and just pick up more Dariuses as things go along. But like, what challengers do we have to this point? We just have the 3 Blinding Assaults and then the 1 On Guard. Then the Legion Drummer really wants Reforges so that she can give herself quick attack and not just trade in the first combat she gets in. But we're getting like pretty late in the draft. I really prefer to be just drafting Lucians, and so I think I'm going to take the Minotaur Reckoner here just to have a little piece of late game. Okay, with these, I'm okay with picking up a second weapon, Hilton Brothers Bond. We have some like additional synergies with these. We have, a couple quick attack units in Lucian Senna. We have quick attacks out of Legion Drummers. We have some of these challenger units. We should be able to get some lasting value out of these cards. I don't want Blade's Edge. I don't want a second Relentless Pursuit. Okay, Bright Steel formation. I'm trying to think if I've picked up the shiny version of this. I know I had a choice to pick an epic out of one of those pouches, whatever they're called, and I can't remember if I took Bright Steel formation or not. But I think this is who we want here. This is just kind of the ultimate late game and kind of seals us up as being able to just build towards Lucians. They could arguably want to go for this War Chefs, but we've kind of like turned up our early game. We've skipped on all the Challenger birds, and so it really reduces the value of War Chefs when you're not able to get a Challenger bird on one. Okay, interesting. How late game are we willing to go? Like with the way we've been taking these packs, I kind of wish we could go back and take that Radiant Guardian now, because I do kind of want to just take Captain Erika here. The 4 Demacia is not like super exciting, but we do have a lot of early game challengers that can easily see us getting these boards to where, we got like a couple of Valors down. We got some good combats, and now they're just kind of hanging out, not doing anything. And we should be able to hopefully get a decent 4 Demacia out of them. And it feels, kind of like the same. I'm not excited about it, but it feels kind of the same as like adding a Reckless Trifari into our deck. So let's give the captain a shot. All right, we can just trade it out now. I'm pretty okay with that. I do want to hang on to our On Guard. I think that's going to be pretty good here between having, Lucian Senna. We're going to be building towards Lucians. We have 2 Legion Drummers. It's not unlikely for us to see another Senna, and it's pretty good with these big Trifarian things like Reckless Trifarian. And so I do want to maintain one of these in our deck. Let's just go ahead and pick up the Prismatic Barrier. Okay. Looking good. this trial reminded me. There's trial number 222. There's the Mitch Hedberg joke where he's talking about wanting to get the phone number that's just all 2s. So when you say, Mitch, how can I get a hold of you? He says, I don't know. You just press 2 a lot. That's all I could think of. The Mitch Hedberg jokes pop up all the time in life. If you've gotten familiar with any of his work, it's very sad that his work got cut short. If you lurk around on Reddit a lot, I'm guarantee you've seen someone say, I used to do drugs, I still do, but I used to too. And then there's, one of my favorite line out of his was, you should never see an escalator out of order sign. It should just be escalator temporarily stairs.
Only a fool would enter battle with
a lot of the big one-liners that you see across the internet came from Mitch. Sad that he's gone.
Rise.
Anyways, back to the game. Had no one. We're curving into this guy pretty reasonably. Not really sure what he's supposed to be doing with Zoe Ash. They don't feel like they're going to synergize particularly well. So let's see what we can put forth here. Not really willing to just open into this board. I'm just going to add Big Boy because it's tough for him to play anything that can actually interact with this. If he wants to add like Nightfall of 5/3, I just don't really care. He's added in units that can't interact with War Chefs, which is particularly good for us.
Calm mind and open heart greet the night.
No one goes hungry.
Defiance is our way.
Cool, works for me.
We will be free, shining softly.
Absolutely. So I'm just going to go ahead and slam in Basilisk Rider. Oh, we hit. Aren't we good at this game? Oh, that reminds me. Man, I forgot to go and get my epic for the game. So we'll have to go back and do that as well. Or not my epic, my shiny card. I have to remember, we'll go get Blinding Assault because we've got a whole bunch of these. See if we can. Can't remember after this game. I'm pretty bad about forgetting. Okay, and then I'm just going to flood the board here. It's pretty tough for him to add less than, I should say more than one unit. given the way he's kind of curved out here. Wouldn't be surprised to see him just play like a single 4-drop or a Meteor Shower. That's okay. He's never blocking with Zoe here.
Ride for Noxus!
Come on, chase me!
Perhaps he is. Perhaps he is not. This leaves us pretty well to set up to just kill him with Overwhelm next turn. Definitely with the addition of Brother's Bond. He's going to gain quite a bit of health, though. That is unfortunate. I think we can still beat this. Right, let's say we add Minotaur Reckoner, and then we're going to play Brother's Bond on 2 of our units, one of them being Legion Saboteur. Just trying to get a block kill out of this thing. Oh, if he's tapping out, this game's going to be over. I think he's going to gain a shitload of health. Go up to 15, then he can't block next turn. Well, I guess he can block, but he just has to do it with Zoe.
Timing is everything.
Yeah, that's weapon lethal without doing anything. So let's go ahead and weapon help, see if we can't spike a good one. Don't need quick attack.
Run him down!
So you can like Brittle Steel or Harsh Winds or something out of this, but sure. We're in 12-19, 1 short. That's too bad. But we're pretty safe. If it looks like he's going to punch through with Zoe, then we can just detain her.
Celeste, paint me and
How close is he to
Silver
doing
playing chess
scary things with Zoe?
I'm a serious artist now.
Up
I
to
can
6,
scribble
I think we're
fast.
safe to just ignore her for the moment. 7? Okay. We can at least go ahead and pop her. This will reset her flip ability, so we don't have to worry about her flipping and then him playing Golden Sister or something to give his whole team elusive lifesteal. And now we can Captain Erika whatever he plays. It's pretty good for us. Guess we can't Captain Erika that. So would we rather go wide? Like play Legion Drummer plus Iron Ballista, or just get a blocker off board? I think I'd rather just play the 2 units. Okay.
We march as one, an unstoppable force.
Cool. All right, we're gonna level up Blinding Assault. I gotta get in the habit of these things. I've been meaning to do it every trial. We're gonna have this dope collection of premium cards. Just gotta remember to do it. So let's see. I'm pretty happy with this Lucian. I don't think we need to pick up any more Dariuses, since we did go a little bit bigger than we planned by picking up this Brightsteel Formation and Captain Erika. These aren't really like the late game units that I like. I prefer these to be like Armored Elephants and Savage Reckoners. But you know, we can't pick and choose everything. And so let's at least pick up the Egghead Researcher with the Lucians. I'm happy to stack up 3 Lucians here. Give us a second way to get Relentless Assaults. Going here, cards. Blind. Oh, you're a rare. Oh man, we gotta drop big bucks on you. That's not the way we do this. Hang on. We gotta get the commons first. What is a good common? Iron Ballista? You're kind of our build around for this run, so let's go with that. I'm cool with that. Where are we at? Home. Nope. Collection. So many choices. Yeah, this is the way I would always do it in Hearthstone. You gotta go and just level up all the commons first, and then you can level up the rares, and then when you're ready to spend the big bucks, you can you can go and start to level up your epics and your champions. Although I did go and upgrade Riven. I think I'm cool with upgrading like 1 champion per expansion until we get to this till everything's covered. All right, the big Legion drummer sent a non-bow. I don't think we want to get rid of her though. Let's hang on to these two. Right. Lucian should be pretty safe to just run out. I'm not gonna have any ways to just kill him unless he makes like a. If he plays like a dust petal unit, then we have to worry about him killing it with Diana. But it doesn't seem to be the case here.
Push back the darkness.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get Senna down. Like if he wants to add Riven here, then we lose out on a point of attack, but otherwise we should be pretty good here. And if he has some kind of combat trick to try to take down our units, I'm fairly okay with that. Sure. Not what you want to be doing in this spot.
Darkness hides in my path.
Night flowers upon my blade.
I think
We
I'm good with
march as
Drummer.
one, an
We're never
unstoppable
going to
force.
just be like double Valoring, and we're just going to be open attacking on the Sky next turn. But I guess, I mean, the scariest thing for him is we can just throw Senna away,
Whatever the cost.
which I think I'm pretty okay with. So let's do this. Let's put Senna down here. This is going to flip our Lucian. And then we can start doing these things to where we're going to, we can make like an open attack, and then we can use Challenger Bird, a Challenger Bird Death to flip her. I think we can get something going on here. Not exactly sure how I want to go about this. Probably do it with, can do it with single combat. Also want to be protecting our Lucian. He's pretty powerful at this stage of the game. Let's do this. Let's see what he adds in. Okay.
Remember why we fight.
No room for doubt.
You leave me no recourse.
Okay. Oh man, I was hoping he'd add another unit. But as far as this goes, we can get our scout attack in now. Valor still has quick attack, so she can ace down the Sparklefly. And then if he's not adding in another unit, then he can't kill. He can't stop our Lucian from killing him. So I think this should close out the game, even though he's protected his unit, because we get the rally. This is what Relentless is supposed to be doing. That is the power of those Legion drummers in the Relentless style deck. Yeah. glad we get to showcase that. That was one of my favorite decks out of just I guess we should call it Foundations, the initial set of the game. And I haven't got to play it in quite a long time. So cool. Kind of okay with getting rid of On Guard to pick up more Sennas. We just didn't get a lot of like the combos that I wanted to be pulling off. Just the two weapon hilts aren't reliable enough to be the amount of reforges that I was hoping for. So, I mean, what other combos are we getting with this before we get rid of it? I don't really have a lot other than hoping our units are bigger than our opponents or having multiple attacks in the same turn. So I think I'm okay to pick up Senna here. We're about to, be at 3 Lucians anyways, and so having her can be pretty important. Like with that last game where, we got just the straight up block with her or using her for a single combat, whatever. There's a lot of things you could do. Okay, with Aurelian Soul, some awkward combos today. Let's see, I'm good to hang on to Blinding Assault. We don't have a whole big bunch of early game plays, but that'd be a reasonable one. And then we're gonna draw the Grand Plaza at some point before the day's over with. These just play. Excuse me, these just play so fantastically with it. What up, bud? You missed the draft. Let's see what happens if we run out Lucian.
Don't get in my way.
As it stands, the big plays you're worrying about with Lucian is your opponent like presenting a brittle steel or something. So if he had 1 mana here, it's kind of scary to attack our Lucian into his Starlit Seer, because he just wins this combat with brittle steel or with Elixir of Iron. But with him not having it, then that's not what really applies. I don't think we get a lot of value out of these challenger birds. So let's just add Egghead, and then bank up the 2 spell mana, so we'll maybe do something with one of these.
We see through all. This is
getting kind of scary. The amount of damage that he could present here is huge, and then, or I should say, the amount of stats he could present here is huge, and then we didn't have a 3 attack unit that we could use in conjunction to knock this down. I mean, we probably should have just played Basilisk Rider.
United, nothing can
stop us. Oh boy, this is getting worse and worse. Yeah, we should have just played Basilisk Rider and planned on using the single combat. Senna's a big pickup though. Well, as long as he doesn't open on us. If we get the chance to drop Senna, then she'd be pretty big.
Not the egg.
Okay, so let's at least just do this mana efficiently. Let's add the Screeching Dragon. Then next turn we'll add in Senna and see what kind of shenanigans we can get into. See what he does. I'd like to see him spend some mana before we get super invested in this play that we're about to try to make.
Winter take you.
Okay.
They're as good as dead.
You're adorable when you're angry.
Jeez. Okay. Well, I think the Senna attack will still be safe. He's not going to want her to flip onto Lucian. And then the big thing with this now, Lucian used to not be able to flip and rally in the same turn, and he is able to do that now. Do this. We can add another challenger bird to get. I don't think we want to do that immediately. Oh, did I fuck that up? I fucked that up, didn't I? Oh man, I was counting on. No. I thought I had that set up a little bit differently. Let's see if we can still pull this out.
I will unite the Freljord.
We ride for Noxus.
I've been getting pretty good at hitting these. We're just like coin flipping to hit the Basilisk Riders. Yeah, this is gonna be a problem.
An auspicious season.
Oop. See if he messes up this Lucian hook and lets us get a kill. Oop. Okay.
I failed.
All right. Well, we'd still be in a pretty bad spot if we hadn't messed up that previous turn, but it certainly doesn't help. Let's go all in. Need to hit +2 attack here. What can we do with Overwhelm? Not a whole lot. So we're gonna have to, like, Brothers Bond both of our Valors. Send one here, one into Ash. This is not good. Then spend another attack trying to kill this stupid thing. Otherwise we just die to all this Overwhelm damage. But I mean, if he just doesn't have a spell or anything, and we're able to get Brightsteel formation online next turn, then we should be pretty okay.
This will be a good winter.
Okay. Alright. Well, I guess if he doesn't open, we can put a Brightsteel formation in front of this thing. Let's go ahead and decimate. Right, because we're going to spend all of our mana next turn, and so if we do manage to get ourselves out of this, he's just going to open. I was going to say, if we do manage to get ourselves out of this, we don't want to have Decimate stuck in our hand on our next attack token.
Guide me.
Okay, this one's done. Let's go ahead and X out of here. I wish you could just surrender through animations, but not the case. So I don't know if we would have been able to pull that off if we didn't mess up the Lucian turn. I had it in my head that we were going to be able to attack with Senna and then flip Lucian and then have another unit die, and that was not the case. That was not how that worked out. So with these, we've been getting pretty lucky with Basilisk Rider, but I'm happy to get rid of this. If we ever miss an allegiance on this, it's just going to be pretty bad. And so Screeching Dragon's a nice replacement for it. Cat here. Buy with Tarek. Okay. Alright, so we got the Senna Lucian combo again. Let's see if we can't find something interactive to go along with them. We're not going to have good blocks into this thing ever. We could drop Senna, at least have a little protection if he's going to try to Mystic Shot. Mystic Shot part of the family down.
We shoot them.
I don't know what they call these. Are these lovers or whatever, whatever they are? I guess they're probably family, right? They're married and stuff.
Warms the heart and lights the way.
And
burn away the shadows.
send him in this way. If he kills anything, he's going to want to kill Lucian, so I would rather Senna to have the option to be the big attack here.
Too damn soon.
Too damn soon.
I got the goods.
Okay. And if he attacks into us, we can just throw Senna in front of something. That doesn't seem like an outcome this guy's going to be excited about.
Now
so fast.
I'll sleep when they're dead.
Yeah. Lucian is pissed.
Unseen, unheard.
Okay. I think this is our unit du jour here. Be able to grow bigger and interact with anything that he has. We could arguably want to play Swiftling Lancer, but like the only units we care about here are like Tarek, or I guess that thing, and so that does make this a little unfortunate. But this block is still fairly weak for him. If he wants to come in and get this hook, then we get the free rally. So I can't imagine he really wants to be doing that. And now we're kind of set up to have 100 attacks next turn. Now we're set up to detain this thing. Okay, so we'd have 3 mana to play around with. I'd probably rather just bank that. Or, add Senna open. Hook this thing here. I think this sounds better. We're going to be able to Relentless Pursuit either way.
In the field, you call me commander. Missed your chance to run.
Let's add new Lucian here. So if he has some play to kill Lucian, then our Senna will deal double damage. Probably should have just attacked with the Iron Ballista, but we're going to be getting 100 attacks this turn. It's not really a good excuse, but I think it'll be okay. I was worried about him just having some kind of trick here and getting a blocker back. Okay.
Who am I? Who are you?
Why would he? I don't understand why he picked. I guess he has the most stats out of anything. Okay. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and pick up this third Lucian. He is one of the better champions to stack off since Relentless Pursuit is such a powerful card. We can consider throwing away the one Relentless Pursuit that we have now that we've added in these multiple Lucians. But this is okay. Yeah, you all new to expeditions. I hope you get a treat to what Relentless is. It's such a fun pull back in the days. I know we got a lot of people upset with Hearthstone that have been making their way over to Runeterra. And well, welcome. Glad to have you. So with this, we finally got our Grand Plaza draw. I'm kind of thinking I want to mulligan as much as we can to try to find a Blinding Assault. But if that doesn't pan out, then we don't want our board to just be dead. So I think the Ballista is an okay keep. Maybe not. That's tough. We just do that combo anyways. Then the thing that gets kind of awkward with this is our we're on the odd attacks, so I think we're not really going to be playing the Plaza until like turn 5.
Sharpen the blade, secure the kill.
Is Victor Rhythm? Okay.
There's a chill in the air.
I'll cut them apart. You're mine.
I don't think we can just take this huge chunk. If we're ever going to build to the Grand Plaza, we can't just take this. We have to give our board time to develop. Yeah, we just draw more Lucians. That's also an option that you can try to pursue.
I'm what
Let's get
nightmares
Senna
fear.
down.
My gun does the talking.
This is something that, like, perhaps we should have waited until turn 5 for, but it's just so awkward if, like, we add Grand Plaza, then he has a real unit and get another big attack in. I don't think we can ever lose these games to where we just stay on board forever. Oh, good. Victor is not aggressive. So we have, like, a couple choices here. We can't add Lucian, which shuts this attack down. It just doesn't seem like something we need to do. We can't aftershock our Plaza, though. Let's do this. I do kind of like adding Lucian. Maybe not, but I want to have 2 units next turn for the Plaza. Okay, this is where we're going. This can also be good in the event that we find if we just want to play the 2/2 drops and then a Relentless Pursuit. I think that'll also just be huge as well. It's a dick move, bro.
Analyzing approach. Genius in action. Push back.
Let's see how much mana he spends here and what he does. Could all change my opinion on how we want this turn to go about.
Metal is perfection.
Okay.
New materials, new improvements.
Lifesteal. Fairly suspect about what he's doing here. So let's. I want to go the barrier route. So let's add Legion Drummer. This makes a lot of his plays here look, fairly bad.
Remember why we fight.
This should be a pretty tough board from him to come back from, especially when we're able to add 2 units and then like Relentless Pursuit on our following turn.
The time of machines is now. Ingenious. Energy core upgraded.
Overwhelm. Okay.
I'm something of an aspiring trichologist.
Or so we can Eclipse Dragon next turn. Let's see how ambitious he gets with this Victor. Because we can also just play Iron Ballista and then Relentless Pursuit, which I'm pretty on board with. Right, we can Iron Ballista, we can Relentless Pursuit, bring in a murder mode on Victor, and then just open kill him.
Won't get away this time.
To victory.
This is mercy. Too damn soon.
Too damn soon. Right, yeah, I mean, we got Riposte Prismatic Barrier. He's going to be all damaged based.
Remember why we
Should
fight.
do it. And boom, gotcha. How bad is that? Still lethal? Okay. We still got him, bud. We got him. I was thinking what happens there. We could have riposted the little guy, so we spread out the riposte damage.
Rest.
We had enough. Getting close to getting our little essence bag. What do we see here? Okay, cool. I'm good to get rid of the Reckoning. Doesn't feel like a card our deck really needs. We can't take a whole lot of advantage of it. We don't have much of the Trifarian theme, and then Kato's just a real monster. It surprises me. I know, like whenever, like it's been, I don't know, like 3, 4, 5 months since Kato got buffed. Like they boosted him from having 3 health to 4 health, which was a constructed level concern. Oh god, I'll push spacebar. Picked up cat hair and hit spacebar. Oh shit. I wanna. I didn't know that was a thing. I guess that's a thing now. But where I was kind of going with that was he was already like pretty monstrous in Expedition. He didn't need that point of health added to him.
I need just a moment.
So I was pretty surprised to see that upgrade happen. And then, you know, the thing that has happened with like Catastrophe. I never realized the Catastrophe thing only required 15 cards in Expedition. I think it requires like 20 in Constructed. And so there's like places to a small degree where they keep a separate card for the various formats. Okay.
Missed your chance to run.
Oh, this can't block. We should have attacked with both. I missed a point of damage here.
I bring clarity.
Okay. Let's see how clever he's going to try to get here. That was my suspected play.
To put
Face me!
unyielding.
I don't think I want to like. Well, I was thinking I might want to full spew here, where we weapon hilt, then prismatic barrier. Maybe this is okay. Our hand is pretty weak otherwise. Got the +2 attack. Perfect.
Remember me.
Let's see if we hit that Lucian. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy, what's up?
In a world full of monsters, I'm glad I have you.
That'll never
How
change.
much more perfect could that get?
My gun does the talking.
This is mercy.
Silly thing.
So we want this combat to just happen, right? We'll do more damage this way. If Lucian flips, we'll deal 8. This way we do 9. So let's let this happen. And then we're going to single combat down Tarek. Good. I mean, there's a good chance he gets out of this, but regardless, the outcome is going to be us having a flipped Senna, or a flipped Lucian.
We're gonna need more coffins.
Yeah, more coffins. Who says that shit? Oh, shit. So he can't attack here, we'll just kill him. There's just no cards that matter here. There's no plus health 1 cost cards.
No room for doubt.
Okay, then Riposte is a pretty safe pickup here. We should be able to stop anything that he's doing.
And stay dead.
Oh, cool. We didn't get punished by the old spacebar keep. I didn't know that was a thing. Cool. Is that it? Oh, so close. Let's see. Trading out Reckless Trafarian for Screeching Dragon is okay. I don't think I really want any of these other cards. I'm not like super stoked to be pushing our curve up, but this unit is fairly bad, and we've got a decent number of 3-drops. Okay. Right. Let's see if we can push our way into this final battle. Dude's trying to Relentless on us too. Lucian, Riven, Quinn. Got it. So, like, I'm curious how hard I want to mulligan all this. I think I'm okay to keep one Legion Drummer and then search for other cards. A big concern here is facing down a Lucian that we don't have an answer to. But picked up our own.
Push back the darkness.
Should be pretty tough for him to deal with. Combination of
Dragons, I just may have an answer.
factions doesn't have an answer to this. I guess he could have, I should say, Calling Strike Lucian, but back again, bud. Okay, so we're gonna have to make a single combat play. Not quite ready to just lose our Lucian, especially when we already have Senna in our hand. It's unfortunate to get 2 for 1 here, but I think our hand is too good to let this just go. Could have got brutalized by a single combat of his, but it turned out okay.
Hello, love.
In the field, you call me commander.
What up, love?
I'm cold, I'm hungry.
This seems okay. Much like with the previous one, you know, Lucian is the high-value target here, and so if he's going to play a card to kill Lucian, then we want Senna to be boosted.
When will I
Okay.
find peace?
So this should be pretty good for us. I mean, we're lined up to have Kato on his turn. We can completely ignore his attacks and not care. We do have to kind of worry about a like a Screeching Dragon coming down or the 5/4 Challenger coming down, which would be unfortunate, but it's going to have to call that, and is what it is. Nothing we can do about it. If we spend 4 mana this turn, we'll have 2 banked, and the next turn we'll be at 6, so we could Kato Relentless Pursuit. Okay.
We march as one, an unstoppable force.
And how do we... The first time an allied Lucian dies, gain a 1/1 and double attack. Okay. I bet it's pretty cool if you have double attack and overwhelm. I bet it's cool.
You monster!
Right, so let's get Kato going. And we have quick attack Kato into overwhelm double attack monster Senna. I think this should be pretty good. He needs a single combat pretty hard. Yeah. Yeah, this deck's fucking cool, isn't it? Blast from the past. Okay, let's get up for this final battle. What do we have? Never trading out Detain. Also never trading out Blinding Assaults when we have the Grand Plaza. And I don't want a second Minotaur Reckoner, so we can skip all these. Let's see. I don't believe I want any of these. The Blade Keeper is kind of interesting in these decks to when you have this Lucian into Senna curve, then you have you know, you're boosting your big units on turn 4. I just don't think that's worth the trade for a single combat, and I don't want more prismatic barriers. This is fine, but this is again this kind of deck to where we really want. I typically want like cheaper combat tricks, or I want riposte, something that helps me win combats and not just to lose them. And so there's a lot of decks that really want prismatic barrier. I just feel like this isn't one of them, and I don't want Cavaliers. We don't have the barrier combos for him. Okay. So this is kind of interesting. I want to keep our captain. I want to keep our Relentless Pursuit, but down here with this Radiant Guardian, I think we've been getting a lot of aggressive draws, but I think that's because we've been getting, somewhat lucky with our Lucians. If we have these early games to where, we don't get these quick flipped Lucians, or we don't get these big wide boards that can really take advantage of Relentless Pursuit, our deck is really going to fall flat until we can come up to this like Bright Steel formation. And to that sense, I do believe I still want to hang on to this Radiant Guardian. So we'll hang on there. Never trading out the Grand Plaza. What do we think about getting rid of Minotaur Reckoner? I'm pretty okay with that. I would prefer to just have A, cheap units, and B, units with Overwhelm. I know we could have traded away the Radiant for a big Overwhelm unit, but this gets us to a different end than the Minotaur Reckoner does. This isn't the kind of board stall that we really need. Although, I mean, it has played well in this game, in this run. The Ballistas are too good to pass up. And our last one. Interesting. I'm so down on War Chefs now that it's only a 1/3. I think we're okay to hang on to it since we have these 3 blinding assaults. But I'm really tempted to trade this out for Captain Erika. Then I do want to hang on to our 1 Detain, although Cythria would be a fantastic add. So let's skip this one, and our last one here. Believe we're good to skip all of these. I don't want weapon hilts. Decimate is something I do want to hang on to. Just a way to close out the games if the whole unit thing isn't really working for us. And I do typically champion having an intimidating roar, but all of our deck has Overwhelm, or at least a lot of our big cards have Overwhelm, or we're getting in like double attacks. This just doesn't feel like a card that we really need, and Relentless Pursuit kind of fills the same role, just the spell that helps us just close out the game. So let's skip all of these as well. All right, game on. Maximum of 6 champions in your deck. I want to see that. I want to see that expedition deck with 6 champions in it. That'd be interesting. Maybe one day they'll do that as a bonus event. Get a champion pick, and after every win, just end the day with 9 champions. That would be neat. What happened? Oh, this is gonna error out. Get those red swirlies going on here. Maybe not. Are we playing? No, I didn't think so. This does not count. We don't get our 7th win that easy. Maybe this will be the same guy. I don't know how good and or bad playing against dragons would be. Oh, interesting. The full Frey Lord. Could be scary. Frostbites are typically pretty scary for these style of decks. So again, let's get rid of everything. We want to keep our 2 just so that we have something, and then we're going to look for Lucians and Sennas and Grand Plazas. How do you all pronounce this word? P-L-A-Z-A. Where I'm from, that was Plaza. And my whole life, you called that Plaza. And then, once I moved out here to the Kansas City area, everybody calls it Plaza. And I got that stuck in my my vernacular now. It's It stuck as Plaza. It's, Alright, what you doing there, Professor Pandemonium? Maybe Ash Trindamere. Big thing that worries me about these cards, the set of cards, is the potential for Feel the Rush. I wish the KDA cards would just be gone. Kind of tired of the tired of them. Okay, and then I think we're good to go ahead and add in Lucian. He's a pretty safe attack here. Like in these previous games, we'd be worried about this attack because if our opponent has a Brittle Steel, then he can take down our Lucian, but giving him 3 health allows him to survive against both of these units.
Blessed by snow and stars.
I don't think this is worth a single combat. If we draw a Senna, then we want to keep our ability to play this. And if he has like an Avarosian Marksman here, this is fairly okay.
We march as one, an unstoppable force.
Okay, this works. We'll just let our Lucian die, and then we'll play a second one. And I do want to keep 2 mana banked up because we're gonna try to make a big Screeching Dragon play next turn.
In Avarosa's name.
I'm through waiting.
Safeguard our homes.
Hot on the trail.
I failed.
You could never fail, Lucian. Don't talk about yourself like that. Darius making his first appearance of the trial. I don't think we've drawn Darius as our 8th game or 9th game. Okay, but I mean, this seems pretty reasonable for us.
A true Freljordian welcome.
Okay, so we can still boost this with Ice Veil with the War Chef. So this seems okay. So I want you.
Show them the might of
You.
Noxus.
You.
No room for doubt.
Bring this one in. And then if his obvious block is the Trapper in front of War Chefs, which we can weapon hilt through. Or if we get ourselves in a spot to where he tries to Frostbite our Lucian again, we can consider just trying to do a single combat. Which is what I believe we'd like to do here. Ally, enemy. Yes. Could have done it with Screeching Dragon.
Save the homestead.
Seems okay.
It can't be.
Patience.
What do we think about playing Darius? Kind of dig it. We're gonna have to take some of this. I'm kind of okay with just taking 11 here. Dude, pretty close to being out of cards. That's good. We were never blocking these big ones with Darius anyways. And we can see if we can't line up some kind of combat next turn that results in our Lucian flipping. I don't know exactly how we're supposed to pull that off, but I'm pretty content with just taking 11 here. It is kind of scary against a Trendemir deck, but if his play is to come in and feel the rush, then you're gonna have a tough time beating that anyways. Just one unit, beautiful. Okay, with the riposte. So now that we have 6.
To victory!
We march.
My life for Avarosa.
That seems good, right?
They walked around.
Seems good to me.
Can see the Noxian border from here.
Kind of in the same spot as the previous game. I'm going to go ahead and bank here because I do want to be playing Bright Steel Formation on our next turn. So I wanted to be able to see what we had make an appearance here. I think this is okay. We should be pretty well set to close this game out. The Lucian Bright Steel Formation combo. You want your Lucian to flip, but none of your units will die. Life is pretty hard in that sense.
This won't be a fair fight.
This should be the last barrier we need if we're gonna Bright Steel.
Too damn soon.
Okay, cool. I have to imagine this game's over. Not sure what he'd be holding on to here that is good. He's just an expensive unit.
Knocked and ready.
Okay. We should still be able to flip our Darius here. I wanted to see if we hit an overwhelm. Yeah, we did.
Carve a path. Burn away the shadows.
Okay, that should do it. Guess maybe he can harsh winds out of this, but I think the only way we would have lost that is if he had like a harsh winds to prevent enough damage,
We have done well.
and then immediately do feel the rush. But cool. Glad we got to take a Relentless Lucian to 7. It's been a long time. Let's get this pulled up here. So I mean, you got to see like some of the combos that you can pull off in here. Just the big things as far as this deck goes. Excuse me. Are you need to have some number of Sennas, you need to have 3 Lucians, and then you want some number of single combats. And so he would more ideally have 3 Lucians, like 3 or 4 single combats, 3 or 4 Senna. It's not what we pieced together here, but that's the general idea. Is you're going to have whenever things are going right, and you could see how well some of those games went. Whenever you're playing your combination of Lucian and Senna on either turn 2 and turn 3, or depending on the spells that you've drawn, or your opponent's factions on turn 3 and turn 4. And so then you kind of hopefully leave yourself in a spot to where you can, either threaten to flip your Lucian immediately, or get in some kind of play where they, hook your Lucian and you can't deal with it dying, but, gives you a chance to single combat and get Senna flipped and ready for action. And so with this style of deck, keep your curve low. That is one of the big things here. You're never going to flip Lucian via the 4 allies dying, but he's also not particularly good if he doesn't have any other units on the board. And so you are wanting these other units on these early game plays to at least be threatening to flip him. So if you're getting into combat and just trading evenly back and forth with your opponent, then it is valuable to have those early game units. And then kind of the second thing is if you have managed to say single combat away your Senna to flip your Lucian, then you do want some other units on board. So be sure to try to keep your curve low with this, and then recognize where the other combos are. The other combos are typically quick attack challengers, and so you're looking to pick up Legion drummers with other challengers, typically blinding assaults and challenger birds. I can't remember the last time I saw a Larent protege, but that is a valid option. And so kind of thing too that you're looking for here is this early game challenger plus quick attack package. So you're going to have Lucian with quick attack, Senna with quick attack, Legion drummer dishing out quick attack, blinding assault with challenger bird with challenger, and then using either Larent protege or on guard to give your quick attackers challenger. So that's kind of how you tie everything together, is if you're getting this super wide board with your challengers. I think we pulled it off once in these runs where we had a quick attack challenger board that we had a flipped Lucian, or we got a Relentless pursuit on. That's kind of like the big cycle of things that you're looking to pursue here. But you're going to want a big chunk of your early game devoted to Lucian, Senna, single combat, and then quick attack challengers. So after that, as we commonly talk about with like Fiora decks, it's like, what do we do if that goes wrong? And the typical if that goes wrong thing you want are just Screeching Dragons. This has consistently and far and away been the unit we're happiest with in these combat oriented decks for what to do when something goes wrong. Just a big beefy dragon that can take down almost any unit in the game. It gets super excited about having riposts, gets super excited about having war chefs, super excited about having what's her name, Legion drummer. It's just a lot of the early game plays that cycle well with Lucian and cycle well with quick attack challengers also play well with Screeching Dragon. And so this is kind of your backup play, the Screeching Dragon. You're okay to pick up Kato's. Whatever your one Noxus champion is, fine. You got one, but that's kind of the the fallback. So from that point forward, you're really just looking for just kind of your cheap combat tricks and making sure you have a removal spell. A removal spell like Detain or Concerted Strike, or to a lesser degree Captain Eureka. Just something that is guaranteed to take one of your opponent's units off the board. And so I think that is it. There's not too much to go over with this one. I think I covered all the main points. Your Lucians, your Sennas, your single combats, and then that's your tier 1. Your kind of tier 2 is the quick attack challengers for the early game. Then also with tier 2, I guess you should say, is finding a Detain. And then after that, just make sure your curve doesn't get out of whack. Find some middling removal like a Whirling Death or something, and some more combat tricks to fill out the rest of the game. But yeah, nice little run. That is going to do it for this one. I believe we got some rewards and things to click on, so let's see where that gets us. Oh, the Noxus icon. I guess it's fitting for for the trial that we just had. We got to change our region. Sure, built over. That gets us to a chest. We had some leftover experience. I think I had to go and craft both armed gearhead and ballistic bots so that I could make premium versions of them. Life is hard sometimes. Life can be hard. Let's see what we have up here. We got the loot. 25. I don't know if we have enough to get a premium for our next run. That's too bad. Do these things show up in? There's no way that those show up in the weekly vault. And we are 100 short of getting another diamond chest. Okay. It's weird seeing. I don't know how I feel about seeing extra copies of almost everything. Like, to what degree I wish they would set it up to where you could only open cards that you don't own. But who are we to really bitch about the free to playness of this game? Everything is super free to play friendly here, and so it would be neat. Maybe if that was like a catch up mechanic based on when you made your account or something, that could be interesting. But all in all, not that important. I mean, we're only sitting on 150,000 dust. I don't know what else we'd be worried about here. Oh, we got a Starry Scamp. We got one of the new cards. Okay, okay. Not a bad little set of cards. We got the 2K dust, so we got enough for an expedition run. Got our expedition token. Let's see, we've got 150k dust. I think we're good as far as acquiring new cards goes. But that is going to do it for us today. Hope you all learned the relentless ways of combat. You had a little educational moment and a good time watching. This is Free to Play Bust, and we thank you for being here.